Hello, nerds. Welcome to GeekBeast, part of the Geekish Network. This is your daily rundown of geek news from geeks like you. Well, tonight is Friday. I know what Friday is. It's not a lot of news, but a lot of talking, a lot of opinions. And so that's what we mostly share. I'm your host, Chuck, and I got two hosts with me. One of you already know. Say what's up to people, Randy.
Yo, what's up, Geek Beast?
And we have the writer of all the Geek Beasts, the Funk up here. Say what's up to the Funk people. Say
The
what's up to
collator and aggregator of the news. What's up? I'm defunct with the intel. That's not my social. That's fine.
that's Centel, but he's the Funk with the Intel. Oh man.
It still works. Still works.
So we're gonna jump into a news story because I think this news story is fascinating for a number of reasons. Megan Thee Stallion goes full weave in Otaku Hot Girl. What are your thoughts on that? Did we saw this coming though? We knew she was gonna give in to her otaku roots and go full anime girl.
Or
We
go
knew
in
this was
more.
happening. What's
Yeah,
up?
and this isn't the first time she's done
No.
anime or had a anime inspired themes in her music and her videos and visuals and everything.
Yeah,
So,
yeah.
yeah.
So the musician said she has had to re-record the track a few days before the album release because she didn't get clearance to use a character's name in her song. I really hope y'all think this shit sound fire because I had to jump through 8 million hoops to get this shit, she said in an Instagram post. Y'all don't know what she did. Yuji Itadori might be the high schooler fighting for his life in Jujutsu Kaisen anime, but now he caught the attention of global star in real life Meg Thee Stallion, and she wanted to use his name. I think in Otaku Hot Girl, and contains an introduction narrated by the English voice actor of Itadori and numerous references to Jujutsu Kaisen and other anime in the song. So she's like, you know what? Y'all question my
Bona
gangster.
fides. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm completely bona fide in this culture. Let y'all know. I don't just go to the Crunchyroll Awards, not because I don't love anime. I love this shit.
Right. And why would she, right? If she did mess with anime,
Mhm.
that's a whole stretch
Yeah,
to go through. That's
yeah,
a lot of scrutiny to go through, to do something that you're not interested in. Yeah, I don't get
yeah.
it.
I
Do
had a
you know how
friend
crazy these dweebs are out here? They would spot you if you were fake in a
and come
nanosecond.
they tried to come at her for it though. They really did try to come at her for this. And I was like, there's nothing to come for. She
Right.
is who she says she is.
Yeah.
It's so funny. One of her ex personal assistants, I know her, and she
Mhm.
said that she Meg watched anime all day long. She says she's not eating or recording, she's watching anime. And usually she's watching anime when she's eating or recording.
Yeah.
I believe it more and more. The generation that's, grown up and putting stuff out is influenced by anime, especially since like when they were kids, right?
Right.
Toonami
Mhm.
hit it big, right? I know when we
Yeah.
were growing up, you had to find some random video store or you had to have cable to watch USA Network or whatever. Like
Mm-hmm.
anime was out there, but it was not like on tap. But then
No,
for
no.
this generation coming up, like they bathed in it. It was in their blood from the day they were
In the beginning.
kids. Yeah.
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 It's Vince
We're
Staples
seeing it
used to.
influencing a lot of celebrities. Michael B.
Mhm.
Jordan,
Yep.
Meg Thee Stallion. I just found out Jalen Brown. I just
Jalen
had to put that
Brown.
out there because he's with the Boston Celtics to mess with Rodney. But Jalen Brown, but Jalen
Wow.
they're
Wow.
all
Wow.
like
Is that what you're
huge
doing?
anime fans.
I see there's this one dude doing Olympic trials. He brought out his Blue Eyes White Dragon Yu-Gi-Oh card as his good
Yu-Gi-Oh!
luck
Yep.
charm. And did I see that Snoop Dogg gifted him with like that five set of that big old monster? And
Mm-hmm.
he's rocking that now.
We saw Jake Paul come out with a Pokemon card. We saw
Yeah.
who's the MMA fighter that does the jiu-jitsu moves from Naruto. He does it
I
before
don't know.
every fight and after he wins every fight. I mean,
And
there are a lot of people in anime,
and
and
you
I don't
have
know.
fitness trainers out there with the one punch exercise routine, the 100
Yeah,
push-ups. Yeah, so like yeah, anime is we're coming
yeah,
of age. It's coming of age.
yeah, yeah, yeah. So it's just interesting. She came full circle and was like, "Look, I got Otaku Hot Girl. I'm gonna throw this out there, and y'all gonna eat it up on my new album, and it's gonna be the hot single." I jumped through a million hoops to make this happen.
Hey, good for her.
I'm excited for it. I'm excited for it.
Twan Solo's out here in the chat asking that question that we've been talking about. Is she for the culture or is she just playing it because it's trending? Seems like it's legit.
It's legit that I know of.
Yeah.
Knowing her personal assistant, she's like, yeah, she's really because the personal assistant I know, she's really into anime, and she said that's what got her hired was her love of anime and music, and she makes weird VR films.
Hmm.
My friend
Okay.
makes weird VR films, and she worked for Meg. Yep, and so she came
I
on
think
with
it's legitimate.
Meg's management and was assistant to Meg. Meg chose her. But yeah, that's crazy. That's crazy. I'm proud of Meg. I think she's always been the way. She's always talked about anime from the outset. Even on her mixtape, she talked about anime.
Yep. I think it's legit.
Yeah, yeah. Speaking of anime, we're gonna jump into another topic we were having offline. We were talking about K-pop, and we had the funk
Oh
on
no.
the show. And I'm gonna ask he's the funk. If y'all didn't
I'm
know
the
is
K-pop pundit talking head on CNN
yeah,
right now.
you're K-pop pundit head right now. You were talking about there is a civil war going on in K-pop world. I want to hear all this juiciness. Tell us about this civil war.
Oh man.
Funk.
Okay. So first off, Rodney, if you can look up some articles talking about Hybe and Islet, that's spelled ILLIT, and then the band New Jeans, so that we can get some visuals on screen.
Oh
But
Lord,
okay. So
you just do that.
the K-pop scene, you might be aware it's reached massive global reach largely in thanks to the rise of BTS. They started off
Hmm.
as the splinter company from one of the big three, which is the big three is what people refer to name the originators of the industry, and they're like the biggest, most successful companies. So there's this one company, JYP Entertainment. One of the composers and producers from there, Hitman Bang, the producer of BTS, split off and formed his own company, Big Hit. BTS blew up big, and now Hybe is like the biggest company in K-pop. More, I guess, I don't know the figures, but it might be as much as the other three, big three companies combined.
Uh-huh.
They, teamed up with American record companies. They bought up Scooter Braun's company, so like he's
What?
now an executive there. But anyway, what's going on? What's going on here? So as part of the expansion, not everything has necessarily been homespun, right? So he's been acquiring a
Uh-huh.
lot of companies and growing that. And then one of the companies that they acquired was called Source Music. They were known for the band G Friend. I don't know if anyone here's familiar with them, but they brought on a creative director from like arguably the original K-pop company, SM Entertainment. You might know them for NCT, Girls' Generation, Red Velvet, aespa. Lee Min damn it, MHJ Min Hee Jin. Sorry, there we go. So she was a creative director for SM Entertainment for a while,
Hmm.
and so Hitman Bang promised her, a company under the label so that she could raise stuff up. So originally it was going to be Source Music, but then something was happening behind the scenes. They shut down, quote, shut down, not really, but they diverted resources from Source Music to create Adore Entertainment. And the band that came out of this is called New Jeans. I think New Jeans is something that people in the US might know. They did OMG. Uh, I am blanking right now. Hold on, quick
New
Google.
jeans. Yeah,
New
I'm going
Jeans,
new
New
jeans.
Jeans
Let me look it up too.
songs. Um, let's see. My bona fides are being run through right now because I'm blanking on the songs. But anyway, they went viral here in the US. Super Shy, you might know Super Shy,
Yes.
Ditto,
Hmm.
uh, Hype Boy, Attention. Like they had a meteoric rise. Uh, and this their sound is sort of that Y2K mid 90s electronic chill music. So instead of being the like hyper precise, super polished kind of band and presentation that you expect from K-pop, this
K-pop.
looks like a bunch of teenage girls who are just hanging out. They're just wearing their baggy Jinko jeans and Y2K era stuff, vibing, not really intricate dance routines. They still have that, of course. It's still K-pop, but it just looks like these are girls who are unrehearsed and are just having fun together. And they got these really chill songs. Yada yada yada. Fast forward, of course, lots and lots of groups are always coming out. Um, they hold Hybe Music, which is the big conglomerate that owns Adore, uh, did this reality show called Are You Next? This was broadcast on YouTube. You can catch episodes of that. And the group that came out of that is called Island. They had a big breakout hit called Magnetic. You might know Magnetic. Do, 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 do. Like it's
Hmm.
magnetic. Do, do, do.
I didn't know the name of the group. I heard that song though.
So this is Islet. People are saying, man, this is really cool and catchy, but man, it also sounds a lot like the style of music popularized by New Jeans. And a lot of the choreography looks like that. And their styling, I guess it makes sense because, they're from the same company overall, same
Hmm.
parent company. So
Yeah.
whatever. So turns out Min Hee Jin, who is the head of Adore Labels, is like suing the parent company to try to get ownership of it, or at least to break out of
Oh
contract or
wow.
whatever, because you're like, you are copying me. I made this success. You are jealous of this success. And okay, there's a third group in here. Le Seraphim. They did the Overwatch 2 thing. They
Uh-huh.
did Bluebeard, Pirate's Wife or something like that. Another breakout hit. They played Coachella, so they're a name that's known here in the U.S. Like Hybe is big on piercing Western music.
Mm, okay.
So what's going on with Le Seraphim is the head of Hybe was trying to suppress the publicity rollout and marketing of New Jeans in order to make Le Seraphim the big
The
company
big group
because
out of
they're
the two.
from more of the centralized corporation than like Adore, which is like uh, a sub label. Um, so lots and lots of battles are going on there. They've gone to court. It's messy. It's hella messy. Both sides seem to be wrong. It's one of those situations where it's like, man, there's no clear winner here because both of you are, doing underhanded methods with each other. Uh, and like there's some shade going on right now where Hybe has got their own music festival called Weverse Con. So Weverse is the social media platform that all the Hybe artists are, and Ariana Grande is joining now because she's under the American branch of Hybe Records. Uh,
Interesting.
New
What?
Jeans, New Jeans isn't in WeConverse. Like pretty much all the other Hybe groups, and then some more are in there, but New Jeans isn't. One can argue that they're not there because they're busy with their album rollout because they essentially did a 1-2 punch of a Korean mini album and a Japanese album. Uh, just earlier this week, they had a massive Tokyo Dome performance. So one can argue, of course, they can't be in the Families Festival because they're doing other stuff. But maybe that's just a convenient excuse. Um, this
Interesting.
is all unsettled. It's still going on. Of course, the K-pop community is taking sides. But from my opinion, from what I've read of what's going on here, both of the business people are playing dirty tactics, and there's no real uh, right side of this battle.
So are the fans actually breaking up over like I used to like Islet and I
Yes,
used to
because a
like
lot of these fans are
now
teenagers and music is their life. Pop music is their life. Yes, they are
so
playing it seriously like that. They're
oh
It's like
shaming the
the
wow.
fans.
East Coast West Coast feud
They're
from hip hop in the
But the
unfollowing.
90s.
same label. It's the same label.
Same
It's
parent label.
yeah,
Yeah.
it's like Def Jam. It's like Island Def Jam being mad at Rockefeller Records.
Well, we had DMX and Jay beefing a little bit. Like it was Rockefeller and Rough Riders beefing with each other.
But
So
we never saw Dame Dash sue Def Jam and Island Records.
oh, we did. Yeah.
They're suing each other. They're literally
Yeah.
suing each other.
So the latest thing that happened
Uh-huh.
is Min Hee Jin got an injunction that says you can't fire me yet until litigation is complete because
What?
the parent company had said we've already got candidates lined up to take over that position. And so she put a pause to that. So we'll see.
Wow.
Developing story.
So if she wins or loses, are they going to fire her?
Well, I'm sure that whether she wins or not, she's out of the company. Whether she gets to take something with her is
Yeah,
a
does she
story.
take
Whether
New
the
Jeans
band
with
goes
her?
with her. Yeah.
Yeah. How does New Jeans feel about this?
They are taking her side.
Okay. Okay.
Mm.
Yeah,
And
but
how's
then there's also
Island versus
parasocial
Seraphim?
relationships there because this is something I'm not going to get into here, but they've got a close personal relationship, and the K-pop community says that that is not surprising, but also icky because of how Min Hee Jin treated past bands under her purview, under her management.
Okay. Okay. So she's like Puff Daddy, really mean to the bands? Treats them like
Uh,
crap.
it doesn't
Barry
sound like that.
Gordy.
No, no, no. It sounds like she's very nice to them. Uh,
Okay.
But
So this is good.
we
This
only
could be
see what we see. We don't see
yeah.
everything, but we only see what we see. But you're asking the question on whose side is the band?
Uh-huh.
They're on their directors. And I don't know if you guys remember Cupid from last year from the band
Uh-huh.
50/50. That band also had a massive implosion in a three-way fight between the president of the label, the creative director, and themselves, where ultimately the band wound up splitting. And so they're going to be re-debuting in a few months as a new band with only one of the original members.
Oh my
This is one of
God.
those stories, 50/50. They speed runned like K-pop superstardom. Like they hit it big in the West, in the domestic country, viral hit. People know the song Cupid. Like they were TikTok famous. I think there was, some viral videos of like folks on the West Coast doing something there, in the hood and whatever. So like it broke the four
Hmm.
quadrants, right? And so they were suing because apparently the company head was misappropriating funds and using it like a Ponzi scheme to pay off his past debts. But then there's an argument that, oh no, they're being brainwashed to ask for more money because they're ungrateful. And the former creative director is saying, you are owed more. Come join me. Let's split off together. And, I'm the creative brains behind the group. We'll work together and cut out the person who's mishandling the money. It's a whole
Wow.
thing.
This is worse than the American music market.
Is it?
I didn't know. I
Is
thought it
it?
was more. It's just as bad. Yeah. I
So I
mean,
think where things differ, right, is because there's like a training system in
yeah.
Korea, like the Motown
Korea.
training system. We're going to pay to train you so that you are a superstar out the gate. Whereas like most bands and artists here in the West are like discovered, right? First you
Yeah.
put in the work, we
Discovered.
determine if you're good,
Hmm.
Well,
and then we will front you money to, like to
but
launch you.
That's what
A&R,
we
that's what
say.
they used to do. Like they don't
Artist
do this much
repertoire.
now. There
Yeah.
was a whole A&R, the artist and development,
Yeah.
and they would work with you and create your sound, your look, and all of those things. So I
Yeah.
mean, there's similarities. I feel like
Like
there's
I say
similarities.
like K-pop is like the Disney Channel and Nickelodeon, right? Like they find young kids with like triple threat kids who they're able to make stars and then train them up and then market them. But
Hmm.
And hip hop finds poor kids or poor adults, and they
And train
shape
them up
and
and shape
mold
me. Yeah.
them to be what they are, right? I mean,
Yeah.
like Biggie, he was a guy from like Brooklyn, New York, an average cat. And Puffy's like, no, we're gonna put you in Versace clothes and shades, and you're going to talk about this and rap over these type of beats, right? It was a whole
Yeah.
A&R development.
Yeah. Yeah.
I
So
think what the
this is
kids need to know
Similar.
is there's not a lot of authenticity in pop music.
they're
Just
not. They're
just
not.
embrace that, just understand that,
Yeah.
and your life will
Yeah.
be much easier to not hold on to those delusions. I mean, like people can be sincere, right? But then
Yeah.
a lot is manufactured to,
Yeah. Yeah.
to hit
Yeah.
the best.
Yeah. We do all kinds of weird things like the planting of Drake. Like people don't understand
I was about to say Drake.
That's what
Drake
Ton
is on
Solo's just
Chronic
saying. We're stuck with
2000.
industry plants or drakes that steal others' sounds.
Yeah,
Yeah.
like Drake. People don't understand Drake is on the Chronic 2001 album as a writer, He also wrote on a couple of Kanye songs, and he's on Compton, Dr. Dre's album as a writer. He used to write lyrics for Dr. Dre, and then they slid him in on that Wayne found him and put him out there as one
Oh,
of his
celebration.
artists.
Hands up.
Yeah, yeah. Wayne put him out there, and they make it seem like he wasn't meant to be there, but he was meant to be there.
Mm.
That's why
Yeah.
there's no interaction between him and Wayne now because Wayne did his part by putting him into the industry under rap, and he can appeal to more black kids that way. But Drake was always an actor who just wanted to become a rapper. His acting career wasn't going nowhere. He wasn't getting any parts,
Mhm.
and then he was like, "I have musical talent too." And they're like, "Okay, let's hear you. Let's plant him and make him work." He writes songs already. He writes verses already.
I know he
So
was
it's
on
funny that
Degrassi.
now
Is
he
there like a
doesn't write at all.
similar farm system like with the
Kinda.
Disney Channel Nickelodeon
Hmm.
that he went through also?
Yeah, through
I
Nickelodeon.
would
Yep.
imagine.
Hmm.
I can't say it for sure, but I would imagine yes.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. A lot of those Nick kids, they could sing and dance and they could do other things as well. They try because Nickelodeon always wanted that initially, right?
Yeah.
They wanted to be a competitor against the Disney Channel.
Yeah. And then
So
you had
yeah.
the R&B groups. They were dressed up and put out. I mean, yeah, it's a lot of
But
similarities.
yeah, I thought I for some reason I thought Korea had this farm system, but they worked their artists to death, but they treated them better. And no, there was no infighting because all of us are getting money. But when you told me there was a civil
Oh
war, I
no.
was like,
There's so
whoa,
many
whoa.
variations of that. Like if you are super talented or are the right look, then you can get into the big company and train without debt. But if you're anything in anything but the biggest company, you will have to pay off your debt before you get paid out. Like I was watching this one micro vlog from a former idol from the band Momoland.
Hmm.
They had a big viral hit, Boom Boom and Bam from Shinsadong Tiger, rest in peace. But apparently, by the time the band disbanded, her payout was like $1,700 because everything that she made up until like $1,700 or 17,000, even still, if it's 17,000, it's not a lot, right? Everything went to pay back everything for the training and all the travel and makeup and costumes and blah blah
Yeah.
blah 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 for production
Yeah,
of
they
the
put that
band
all
for the
into the
7 years up
business.
until the
Yeah.
disbandment date.
That's
And
like
like
new
for the
Additionally,
Western
went
music,
on
like
tour.
that's your advance, right? You sign with a
yeah.
label, you get your advance, and then
Hmm.
you owe them records until you pay that off. And
Right.
Yep.
so you can
It's
Well,
be
kind of like new
insta
tour in
rich,
the
edition.
80s
but it's
went
like
on
loan
tour.
money.
Yeah, it's like
And
new
when they
edition will go on
they
tour.
went on
Yeah.
tour, and when they got done on tour, their tour bus literally dropped them off in the projects
Yeah, they literally went on tour,
and gave
a
them scooters.
worldwide
Right?
tour,
Yeah,
and they gave them
it's like
scooters
Oh,
like
that's something.
elites and sprees, and said, "Y'all
yeah,
good, y'all good." We had to pay for all this stuff,
they had to
and
pay
there's
for it
six of you,
all,
and
right?
there's
It
six of
all.
you. Yeah.
Yeah,
Oh
so
man. Oh, well, speaking
it's
of that, since we're in
unfortunate.
happy hour,
That's
what it is. I just want to hear you talk about K-pop because I love hearing you talk about K-pop. You have turned me on to so many K-pop groups. I'm pretty sure Rakai is right now texting his daughter to actually listen to this because she's all about this.
Mm.
You
Maybe
know,
she's in
she's
it.
mad.
Maybe she's on Twitter being one of those fans who's
Maybe,
spend their
maybe
whole lives doing it.
I'm going to ask her because she probably knows all of this stuff. All of
yeah.
this stuff. I tell
It's
everybody
the
I've been to
hot
K.
goss. It's the hot goss on
Yes.
Twitter.
And
Yeah.
if I
It's
was
so
15, I would be so into this so much. I'd be keeping up
yeah.
with it every single day.
For
I
real.
told everybody I've been to K-pop shows and I went to one. I thought saw Monster X. I think it was Monster
Mm.
X. They were at the Staples Center. First of all, the show was sold out. I walk in there and I'm there, of the company I caught, they have a box. So we all got to go to the show. I
Oh,
walk
sweet.
in there and I see like 15 black women, not girls, black women in their 30s and 40s together to come and see
Look,
Monster X.
they're just the new boy band. Whether it
They
was the
are. And I'm
Beatles, New
like,
Kids on the Block, In Sync,
Yeah.
you know,
moms
Yes.
love the boy bands too.
yeah.
They've
I
got the
saw
money to
these.
spend.
Yeah,
What's it
I
And New
called?
saw these
Edition is a
30-year-old
boy. Yeah,
black
they're
women
yeah,
together. They're
yeah.
having a girls' night out. They all giggling. They're all in the box section together. They're all dressed up. And they see me and they're like, there's a black guy here. And I look at them, it's like, there's black women here. I have never we just stared at each other. I said, hello, how y'all doing? I said, fine. They looked at me like, maybe he got the wrong concert. But no, it was Monster X, and Monster X was popping.
Yeah.
That show was, man, the marketing tables, all the merch tables, I mean, the merch tables, they were sold out of everything. They were bringing in another load of stuff for the mid-show selling. And they have commercials during the middle of the show. I thought that was the coolest thing ever. That
What do you mean?
every band member was promoting their own merch, and they
Oh,
had it in between the show. They'll come on the edge of the stage and sit down. They'd be like, "Play the commercial." And they'll play the commercial, and they'll talk about their skincare products and everything. And people went out and bought
all
them.
right.
I was
I
like,
got
"This
something
is
to say.
brilliant."
So Blackpink, arguably the biggest girl band out there, but they
Uh-huh.
don't make music. They don't make music. They
They
haven't
don't
made
make
music. That's a
music. They
key
don't make music.
criticism of the band, but
They don't make
especially of their
music.
label. They don't put out music. Like they make their money off of brand deals, right? So like there's a
Hmm.
joke that they're more Instagram models than they are
I can
musical
see that.
artists. Anyway,
Hmm.
they did not they did and did not re-sign with their parent label. They re-signed as a group. So any group activities will be with their original label, YG Entertainment.
Hmm.
But as individuals, they signed with different companies or in fact spun up their own
They
companies.
Wu-Tanged it.
Yeah.
Wu-Tang did that.
Do not expect any Blackpink projects except for maybe the 10th anniversary thing. Like, don't expect anything. They are done with that company. Anyway, Lisa, she
Uh-huh.
just put out a song today,
Yeah.
I believe,
Yeah.
Rockstar. That is an amazing video. I don't like that song. I don't like a lot of songs, to be fair. That's
I
fine.
saw the video too today.
That
I
video
saw
is
because
bananas. Recommend everybody go watch
yes,
Rockstar. That's
yes.
crazy. Also, I just noticed I'm
Rodney,
staring at
you
my
can pump.
thumbnail here.
Yeah.
I'm
I,
wearing my Twice shirt. Nyan, check out ABCD. That's the hit new song. That is real music. It's got a chorus that's not just
Randy's looking
onomatopoeia
up all this
sounds,
stuff right now. You
and
know that,
I
right?
am
it's
because
got
yeah, I don't
Western
know.
dancers. She flew out to LA and you got LA dancers there. It's like, oh, there's a lot of people of different colors, not just Asians, different body sizes.
They probably
Check
got
that out.
Kendrick in there and
Nyan
everything.
ABCD.
They probably got
No,
Kendrick. Maybe that's what Drake needs to do is partner up with a K-pop group, steal their
I-
style, and
it's
come out with one
possible.
of those songs.
maybe.
That's what he needs to
There's a
do
lot
at
of
this
Western
point.
crossovers.
You
Like
know,
Twice had a
he
song written by did Dua Lipa write a Twice song? I want to say she did, but
Dua
there's
Lipa
been
wrote a Twice song.
she might have. I'll have to double check that.
Okay, that sounds amazing.
Sabrina
That's
Carpenter's been hyping up a lot of
yeah,
K-pop recently. She learned a Twice song in Japanese to sing in a Japanese concert.
yeah. I was gonna talk to you about Lalisa's song because I saw an interview. And then she's talking about, do you speak in Japanese? She goes, hi, hi. That's part of the song.
Yeah, I cringed at that, but I understand what's
Oh
going on.
man,
But I'm like, oh no.
yes, me too, me too. She goes, hi, hi.
But she's out in Thailand. There's
Yeah,
like 100 Thai extras there. So,
yeah.
and she's brown skinned. She didn't do any skin whitener. So, like,
Mm-mm. She
that's
owns it.
amazing just in general because, like, white is right in Asia. Like, you
Yeah.
get that colorism still there.
Hmm.
Uh, but let's
Yeah.
see. According to JYP Entertainment, Dua Lipa wrote co-wrote the song "Behind the Mask" twice as track 13 on the Eyes Wide
Yeah.
Open album.
That's
Anyway,
dope.
there's a lot of crossover there.
Okay. Okay. I like Lalisa. I like she's so small. She's so big on stage.
She's got a
Like,
wonderful face. She gives
yeah, like I
excellent
own
face.
this.
I
I
love her
own
face. Yeah.
this. I own all of this. This is all mine.
Yeah. And she could soon if she marries that billionaire boyfriend.
Yeah. 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 She's like, I own all of this. Anything I do is amazing. See my dance moves? Yeah, I hit every one of them.
Oh, speaking of
Yeah, and I rap.
internationalization,
I rap.
Hybe and Geffen Records' new girl band Cat's Eye just released their song today. It's pretty brat doll type thing, which
Interesting.
might appeal to the Western audience. I find that a lot of Western fans like that bratty kind of sound, which is why they like a lot of Blackpink stuff. Uh, but
Uh,
I feel like when you look at the lyrical content, and I'm sure it's the same for Korean music, but it's very Disney Channel brats
uh-huh.
type of stuff. And JYP Entertainment,
Oh, they
they
pretty.
beat them out of the gate with Vicha, who I think these bands are just two sides of the same coin of Disney Channel, but JYP went with like the sweeter, more hopeful side of the Disney Channel thing. And I think they've got an absolute S tier Disney Channel style music. A lot of the young fans are use Disney Channel as like a pejorative because they want to grow up and be mature and be cool. But there's something to be said about that earnest, hopeful, go get 'em attitude. Uh, that a lot of children's songs go for. And
Mm-hmm.
for me, I like the the brighter side of things that Vicha is doing. And to further complicate matters, this is not a civil war. Remember, I said earlier that Hitman Bang, the guy who founded Hive Entertainment, came from
Uh-huh.
JYP Entertainment. At Weverse Con, they had like an hour-long set with JYP as the guest. So
Mm-hmm.
he's at another company's festival as the guest of honor. He's not even on that social media platform. A lot of people were angry because they don't like older people in K-pop, just in general.
Interesting.
Also, they blame JYP, the person, for the things that JYP, the company, does. Even he is a creative director, but he's not like pulling
The
all the
business
strings.
person. Yeah.
But I
Yeah.
can understand like the fans didn't sign up for this festival to listen to music from someone who's 50 years old. I get that. But
Mm.
also, you should listen to this guy who's been doing it for 30 years because he is a certified hit maker. Like he is chart topper and continues to do it to this day
Yeah.
for not his songs, but the songs that he produces for the bands in his label and sometimes for people outside. And so
Interesting.
the two old men did a set together, like Hitman Bang on the guitar and the keyboard, and JYP singing and dancing like he's Korean James Brown.
Or
Uh,
or or did he come off like Justin Timberlake?
Who left the group?
No, Justin Timberlake is on tour right now, and he sells
like
stadiums.
high? No, he didn't come off as high.
Okay, high, yeah. Justin Timberlake look high as hell. He looks like he's. I said Justin Timberlake's on some Percocets, and he's and these
Allegedly, I will see
allegedly,
CYA
allegedly,
allegedly.
allegedly,
Also, that
allegedly.
meme is the best thing to happen to the internet this past month,
Oh
right? This
man,
is
it
going to ruin the
is.
tour. It's gotten so much creativity. Twitter's
Yeah,
been blessed thanks to
yeah.
Justin Timberlake.
And when he's sober and not high, allegedly, his dance moves aren't as hit. he's he's
Oh,
he's not when he's high. He's not. He's like 16 when he's high. He's hitting everything. He's nailing everything. Am I right?
JYP
Am I
still
right, Kai?
hits. I,
Yeah.
I haven't seen anything
I watched
from
some of those.
Justin Timberlake since before his country album. What is it?
Yeah,
So like
I
Future
saw
Sex
the
Love Sounds
sexy
is the last I
back.
really
I
cared.
saw the sexy back hits, and I was like,
Mhm.
he's nailing every single one. He looked like Usher out there. I know Usher goes to the gym every day. It's interesting. It's interesting. It's interesting watching old men move, such as Chris Brown, because he's older now and he's still nailing all the moves.
hey, I just got into this argument with somebody, and
Mm.
I said Chris Brown the best damn dancer to ever live.
I think so too. I
He's
think
really
he
good. I cannot deny that.
And I know, and we had to bring up Michael. I said, I don't think he's got his swag, but Chris Brown, one for one, is a better dancer than
He's
Michael.
yeah,
refined Mike
yes.
stuff and cleaned it up. Yeah,
Man, he
Yeah.
said
I'm not gonna fight that.
he just did a whole dance set and broken them breakdancing moves
Man, I
and
seen him do
Flair.
breakdancing, backflips, a
Yeah, and
split
Flair.
in the
Like,
rope. I was
wow.
like,
In the dance routine, you're like, wow,
yeah,
that's
I was like,
impressive.
yeah, man. Chris
That's
Brown. I know my contemporaries like you out your mind, but Chris Brown is the baddest dude who ever lived.
how old is
Check out
Chris
who
Dancing.
showed
Brown?
up in the chat here. You got some family in the chat.
Yeah, my brother showed up. And Chris Brown is 35 years old. I said he nailed all those moves like he's 19. I said it's impressive. He's
Chris
impressive.
Brown is amazing.
It's
I'm
impressive.
sorry.
It's impressive.
Very.
If he didn't hit that woman and that crazy to all these other women, if he was not abusive, and we don't condone abuse here,
No, we do not.
he would be the target. He would be the person to chase after.
He would
But
be.
since he ruined himself, and it's
Mhm.
all him. It's all him.
Yeah.
That's his fault. He complains about it. They're not giving me any love because I made one mistake. No, Chris Brown, you made that mistake, and then you got on TV and made a whole bunch of mistakes with other women.
Yeah. And he out here charging a thought like in the chat there. Yeah, he charging like $2,000-$3,000 for pictures. Come on,
Yeah.
boy. Sit down, man.
No,
Sit
it's
down.
$1,111.
Whatever.
And he's like, I give you any picture you want. Whatever you want to do, I'll give it to you. You tell me
What?
what you want, what you condone. I had you sign the waiver, and I give you whatever picture you want. I said, that's crazy. This
But
is
when you
crazy.
hop on the stage with him, ain't nobody competing with Chris Brown, man.
Yeah, yeah. I don't know. Some of these Korean pop guys probably could.
And maybe
It-
I just know I sat there and watched.
so so
I was amazed. I was like, wow, Chris
so
Brown really is
so
the best.
Defunct, do any of their solo careers take off like their group careers do?
It's
Are there
not to the
solo
same
artists?
levels. There's
Okay.
very few who are able to break out. Uh, and the most successful solo artists tended to have started out as solo artists, like IU. She's
Mhm.
currently touring Western areas. I think she's in Europe right now, but coming to the US
Uh-huh.
soon. But yeah, we'll see what happens with the BTS boys. They've been doing pretty all right, right?
Yeah.
We'll see. I don't know if those figures have surpassed them when they were at their prime together. They're starting to come back from the military. I'm sure the reunion album, the reunion song is going to be the biggest thing in K-pop. I'm sure of it.
Hmm.
But just generally, no, the solo acts have not been as big commercially and public consumption as
Interesting.
the group albums. They can still
Interesting.
perform very well, but it's very uncommon for the solo act to be as big as the group.
Yeah. I have a lot of friends in the music industry, and one of them attempted to try to build a boy band together.
Mhm.
And I was like, if you make a multiracial boy band that can all dance and move like Chris Brown and rap probably as good as Nelly, they would crush everything. They would crush. They don't have to be the best singers. They just have to be Chris Brown level singing. Turn
Now,
auto tune all the way up and
I
pitch.
know you guys had this argument a while ago.
Uh-huh.
Like, does talent matter, or is it just like the one-on-one connection? You need to sell the
Yeah,
personality.
so the personality. I think the
Like,
personality have to.
talent doesn't matter as much.
You bring five boys
You just got to be
that are
good enough.
attractive,
Good
good
enough.
enough. But they can dance as good as Chris Brown, just about as good, and just have them be able to
You guys were just
harmonize. They have
selling
to
that's the
harmonize.
highest echelon. You're asking a lot.
Yeah, yeah, a little bit lower than Chris. They can't dance as good as Chris Brown, but can dance.
Yeah, yeah,
But they
yeah.
have to harmonize together. They have to harmonize as good as the
That's
Beatles
something that we
did.
need to bring back to music.
Yeah,
Harmonies, multi-part
harmonies.
harmonies. That is something
Yeah,
that is severely lacking just in
it is.
general.
Well, it's
It
like,
is.
I mean, they're selling
Melodies are good,
15-year-olds and
harmonies are
14-year-olds.
bad.
They don't. Were any of those groups ever really, really great? If we look back in retrospect, like our groups, our boy band groups,
Yeah,
were
yeah.
they
I think
great?
I think Backstreet Boys' music catalog is better than NSYNC or any one of their contemporaries. I
But
think
that's
that
not
still
saying
stands up.
much.
I think it's plenty good. Like, are we comparing it against like
New
Jackson 5,
Edition, Jackson
New
5.
Edition was
the
amazing,
Beatles?
I thought, but did my parents feel that way about New Edition the way I felt? Because I was 13 and my brain
Well,
wasn't fully formed. And I was like, they're amazing.
Boys the Men
Boyz II Men, yeah,
Boys the
truly
Men were a
excellent.
vocalist group. They were a vocalist
Yeah.
group, though.
Yeah,
That was their whole thing.
yeah. That's them and Jodeci were vocalist
Yeah,
groups.
they were a
They
vocalist
weren't
group.
really boy bands.
Right.
They didn't dance and
But they're
sing
from
at the
like the
same
old
time.
tradition of like, the jazz club boy bands
Boy
and like
bands,
Motown,
yeah.
where
Yeah, but we
like
talk about
they
Early
harmony. Like
sing,
that
Motown.
but
was
then they
literally
can't
what
also,
they
yeah.
could
The
do.
the,
They could,
the
Yeah.
they like
pre-Jackson
cut the beat
5
off.
Motown.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah.
Right. That's
Uh
who they were.
I don't know. I mean, Jackson 5, are you going to say they're the best harmonizing group? They weren't. Michael was
They
the
weren't.
standout,
Right.
and they
They
sounded
weren't.
really good together. And the
Michael
same thing
wasn't a
about
great
the
vocalist.
Beatles. The Beatles was a boy band, and they sounded good together. Like
Yeah.
their harmony sounded really good together. They weren't
So like
quite
out of our
a
boy
hard
band
rock
groups, like
group.
who of them were like really outrageous vocalists?
Beach
Michael
Boys,
wasn't a great vocalist. He was an entertainer.
Beach
I would say
Boys.
New Edition. I agree with my brother. I would
New
say New
Edition.
Edition.
Okay, I'll go with New Edition.
Twan Solo says, "Stop it." All
Well,
for love. All for love. Jodeci's not a boy band. They were a
yeah, they're a
vocalist group.
vocalist. They're
They're a vocalist
vocalists.
group. They're a real singing group. They
Fun, who you
sing.
selling? Stop it.
Yeah,
I
Toronto,
legit think
he
boy
does stop
bands
it.
or Beach Boys hold up.
Yeah,
Yeah, like when we think about all of
Frankie
them,
Valley
none
in
of
the
them were
for
like
Four Seasons.
outstanding vocalist groups.
yeah.
And they sold to 14 and they sold to 14-year-old girls,
What did the
Yes.
and
Commodores
guys
sing?
went
I'm having
along with it,
trouble
was like, yeah,
thinking.
that what we gotta do. That's what we gotta do.
Like Mike was the vocalist. He was the vocalist, and I think the other four brothers
They're
were
just
just backup
background.
singers.
Yeah,
Singers, yeah,
yeah.
background. They could have plugged in any four people with Mike, and Mike would have won
They could
that
have
group
plugged in
over.
anybody singing with Mike. Mike was an entertainer in the
Take
Jackson
six,
5.
take six didn't dance, Rodney. They didn't
Yeah, they're
dance.
not.
They're
They're
a vocalist
Take
group. They're a
Six,
vocalist group.
Jodeci, Boys the Men, Shot, like they're vocal.
Vocalists, yeah, yeah. They weren't trying to entertain you across the stage. They were
Yeah,
there. They go on stage and sing to you, and you just get swooned. It's the difference between Teddy Pendergrass and James Brown.
I'm gonna
right.
There's a
tell you. I'm gonna
difference
give you
there.
guys a recommendation
Uh-huh.
for
We gotta talk
K-pop
about this.
all-around group.
Uh-huh.
NMIX. That's NMIXX. Vocal group, dancers, entertainers, comedians, visual, I
Who's
guess.
this?
NMIX. Check
They're
out
a girl
their
group?
single Dash and the album FE03. That album right now is like my top K-pop album of the year.
I'm gonna listen to the album after this.
Go,
If y'all
just go and
didn't
watch their
know,
live performances. Just
the
go.
funk is the K-pop king out
I am
here.
not. There's too much stuff going on there. Do not put that on me.
Man, let me tell y'all something. I've been to the record shop with him. I've been to the record shop and I watch him school me on like CDs and the packaging of CDs and what to get. You are this, Carl. I mean, the fun. You are this.
All right. There's levels to this. I'm not.
You
Don't
may
ask
not
me
be at the
about
top
BTS songs. They're the
level.
most popular band in the world. Don't ask me about their songs. I really don't know. They're just not in my purview.
Yeah, no. You have your favorite groups, but you know a lot. I'm like, wow. He's like, yeah, get this album has these cards in it. This one's slightly different, but I'm picking up this limited edition one because I
You,
know it has this, and
we
this.
want to talk about cool looking albums. There was an NMIX album. I can't remember which one it was. I think it was their second album, which is the one that Dice was on. Anyway, you're looking at like this, like 8.5 by 11, or no, bigger than that. But essentially, it's like a canvas piece of art as the box. So it's got that rough texture on it, and it's ready to hang on your wall. You just put the little hook on it, and it looks like you got a little painted portrait of, one of the seven girls from the band, or six. What time did it come
Interesting.
out? But anyway, like it's this big old thing as if it was canvas stretched over wood. It's not. It's lighter weight. It's not durable, but like that's how it's presented.
That sounds
So that's a
fascinating.
very novel thing.
And
There's a whole
and
lot
for
of novel packages in K-pop, but
yeah, and
while we're
so
on that subject,
and what's so interesting, we're in the world of digital music, yet they still print the CDs and
that
the
is
packages,
how they're successful.
jewels. Yeah.
You want to check
They're
out,
successful based on that.
I'm going to say there's a 2009 interview with Park Jin Young, who is the founder of JYP Entertainment. Look, Midem Net,
Mm-hmm.
MIDEM Net,
Uh-huh.
and JY Park. He's talking about around like 2007 or so, when broadband really came up in South Korea. It essentially killed the music industry, right? Because music was
Uh-huh.
free. There was no value in selling music. So, what can you sell to stay afloat? You sell personalities and you sell these gift sets, right?
Yeah.
And these gift sets are full of paper tchotchkes, right? Like that's real easy and cheap to print. You pay for the photo shoots, you sell them. Now the idols are taking a whole lot of selfies. You can commercialize those sorts of things. These wonderful photo books and photo cards. The photo card secondhand market is bananas. Like you want to talk about what the kids are collecting these days. Yeah, it's trading cards, but it's not necessarily like Pokemon and Yu-Gi-Oh and that kind of thing, but like K-pop idol playing cards or trading cards. And you get your
Yeah.
little keychain so you can put it on your backpack. And this is my bias. This is my favorite dude from the band. And you decorate
So
it with
crazy.
stickers.
They
Yeah, so they're
sell
selling
all
the
of that.
personality. So You become a
Yeah.
K-pop idol, and music is just the advertising model to pay for everything else. We were talking about Blackpink earlier. They make
Uh-huh.
music so that they can become a name, so that it can sell Dolce &
Other
Gabbana or
thing,
whatever.
everything
Yeah,
else. Dolce and Gabbana,
That's
sell some Louis Vuitton bags.
yeah.
right. That's a
Mhm.
lot of them, though. That's a lot of music
Yeah.
acts.
Yeah.
But not the extent here in the US. Like the US music like promotion, nothing compared
Yeah, they don't do it the
to
same
South
way.
Korea. When they go on to the talk shows, that's to promote their new song, but they're not there just because they're a pretty face or an interesting personality. But in South Korea, that is part of what you are as part of your package of being an
Yeah.
idol of I'm an interesting personality. You want to hear me talk. You want to bring me on to your talk show so that people will tune into your
Yeah.
talk show.
They're not in the
And it's
middle of
we're
any
not even talking about the songs. We're between songs.
Yes, yes. So between songs, you don't see Beyonce say, "Hey, go out in the hallway and buy my perfume right now." And they bring in a shit ton of the perfume that is in special concert packaging, and she sells it all out. And the price of the perfume is $300 a
Is this
bottle
going on at the
versus
Monster X
70.
concert too? What's going
This is
on?
going on in the Monster X concert.
All right. I want to say so. Monsta X is from Starship Entertainment. They're one
Uh-huh.
of those not top tier bands, or like one step below, but they are pretty successful. They got a girl band called IVE right now that is one of the contenders for the top fourth gen girl group in terms of popularity. So like that company Starship is pretty successful, and I guess
Yeah.
they're great at commercializing opportunities.
Yeah, my brother's still in the chat listing out groups. Drew Hill's close, but they don't really dance. And 112 kind of dances. Jagged Edge does dance.
Jagged
112, I
Edge
guess, would
dance.
dance
Jagged
too.
Edge is a boy band. They're a boy
Yeah,
band.
they're boy. I'd say 112 is too.
112 is a
112
boy
is
band
too.
too.
Okay, so
He
they did
mentioned Mint Condition. Mint Condition is a band, and they're bad
band. They're
all
Mint
around.
Condition and Portrait are a real band.
Yeah, they're real bad.
They're
Like
like Earth, Wind, and
they play
Fire.
instruments and everything. They're badass.
They got
Yeah.
horn section that sing.
Right. Yeah. Yeah.
Twan says Belle Belle DeVoe, but I consider that part of New Edition. New
Yeah.
Edition is like the best boy band to ever exist to me.
Yeah. And that's
All of
pop
them
boy
and
band.
they can sing. New Edition can sing because Johnny Gill, Bobby Brown, Belle Belle DeVoe, they broke out and made solo careers.
Mm.
Yeah. So yeah.
That's
I
one
consider
where
their vocal
arguably the
performance.
solos hit bigger than the group.
It's bigger than the
Yeah.
group. Yep, their solos hit bigger than the group. They are what Wu-Tang
I don't
aspired
know
to
about
be.
that, fellas. Now,
They did. Bobby Brown, My Prerogative was like the
my
biggest
prerogative.
song.
Yeah, but New Edition had hits.
They did, but Terrence Trent D'Arby had hits. I mean, not Terrence, but Ralph Tresvant had hits. Bobby Brown had hits. Johnny
Bobby
Gill
Brown-
had hits.
Yeah,
Belle
they
Belle
did.
DeVoe had Poison.
Yeah, they did, but I don't know if they still were bigger than the hits.
Twan came with something really good. B2K. I give it to
B2K
them.
was a boy band, though.
They were, and they're good. They're
Yeah.
good. But that's what you said. Are there boy bands that are good? Twan, you nailed it. B2K is that boy band that's good that can actually sing.
I think B2K falls in the tradition of every single one that we just named. They
As
were
mediocre.
dance, they could dance. They appealed to young girls. They could dance. They were synchronized, and they were okay vocalists. I remember when they broke up because Justin was in high school and he was like, man, we couldn't get it none of the girls because they was crying all week long. Like that's who they
That's
were.
true. That's true. That's true. That's true. That's probably true for him.
He was
That's
like,
right,
couldn't nobody hook up with nobody because all they did was cry all week.
It's crazy that boy bands resonate so well with high school girls. Like that is a formula. I didn't know.
Yeah.
I wonder when the music industry figured that out. It couldn't just been it couldn't just been the Jackson 5, and it couldn't just been the Beatles. It had to be before then. They were like, hey, we put a bunch of boys together, make sure they can half-ass sing and they can dance their butts off.
I mean, some
They'll
nice
get every girl.
clothes. Yeah.
And it's nice clothes. I wonder who figured that out. Because it was about solo artists. I mean, don't get me wrong. You had the Four Tops and the Temptations and stuff, but they were crooners. They did dance steps, but they weren't
I don't
dance
know.
dancing
They
out
kind
there.
of fall in line with that too. They could
think
sing a little
so?
bit better.
You think so?
The
I wonder
funk
who
mentioned the Motown system. They put him in charm. They took him all out of the projects. They put him in charm school. They had him
They train them.
curfew. They dressed him up. They had choreography. They had vocal lessons. They were kind of like the prototypes of all of those things. I don't know if they were the starters of it,
Who
but
started it though?
I don't know. I
We
don't
should
know
we,
who
we should do
started
a deep dive on that. We're gonna have that as a deep dive. The fun we're gonna bring you on here.
Isn't there
The
a
start of boy.
documentary about this? I feel like
There is, and we should make it. It should be the Geekish
I
Network's first
guarantee there's
documentary.
something. Is it Quincy or is it Barry? Is like
Quincy, and my brother said Quincy Jones figured it out. Maybe it might have been Quincy that figured it out over Barry. Barry just ran the business and ran everything with an iron fist. And I think Quincy was the artist behind
it. Could have
everything.
been Quincy. Quincy got
Quincy
so many
made off the
stories. I keep
wall.
saying I'm gonna read Quincy's book. Quincy's
Quin-
stories got wild, wild stories,
I
man.
bet he does. Quincy made Off the Wall. People
Yeah,
don't understand. Off the Wall is probably Michael's greatest album, and I will stick with that.
concur.
Off the Wall is amazing.
off,
It,
but that's later. Quincy was with Frank Sinatra.
Mantra, yes, he
Yeah, yeah.
was. But I'm saying Off the Wall.
That was a
So
star maker that launched
yes,
the Michael Jackson. It
Yeah,
wasn't his
Michael
first
Jackson.
solo album, but it launched
Yeah.
capital M, capital J, Michael Jackson.
Yes, yeah. But he did Frank Sinatra songs. Didn't he write songs for the Beach Boys? Like Quincy Jones. Maybe it was Quincy Jones. Oh
it
man.
might have been
Oh
Quincy.
man, I'm gonna talk down the ride and we're gonna make this boy band documentary because people want to know this. Where did it all come from? That somebody said, hey, let's take
You want to
a
make the
group
money,
of
you tie that into K-pop.
yep, yep.
You'll reach the old heads, and then there's a
Make
direct
a
lineage of black music creating K-pop.
we
That
we
is
can actually just
inarguable.
the evolution. I like that. And we just talk about the evolution from the beginning to the end. We can talk
Yeah,
about the Beatles, where the Beatles fell in. Because people understand the Beatles weren't big in the UK. They were like, oh, they're all right. They
yeah. The
landed in
Beatles is a
America.
boy band.
They hopped
They're a
off
boy band.
they were a boy band.
Yeah,
They
they're a
hopped
boy
off the
band.
plane in America and they worshiped them like these are it. This is it right here. There's something there has to be something about this, but it may be worthy. BET just did a special on the UK black music scene. They
Yeah.
covered grime and garage and house. They covered the evolution of it all. I said we should do the evolution of a boy band and figure out, do a study on it and actually just do a documentary on our
Yeah.
own.
Connect the dots. Connect the dots
Connect
to
all
the
the
modern
dots.
K-pop boy band.
Yeah. K-pop
Because
boy
like
band.
the teen, vocal group, dance group,
Hmm.
performance group, like I don't know what the hell's going on in Western countries. They're not really pushing it like they were around the turn of the millennium and earlier. Like all the heat is overseas in East Asia,
Yeah.
right? Whether it's Korea or China or Japan or the Philippines or whatever.
Yeah. Like I wonder how this caught fire in like Korea, for example. What made them say we're gonna make a group and put them out there and see
That'd
what
be Michael
happens?
though, because Michael was just so big. It was
Michael
like
Jackson is
solo.
the template, is the
Right, that's what I'm
template
saying.
for
Like
everything.
he's so big.
But there are documentaries of this. It is
Yeah.
the 90s, late 80s through the turn of the millennium, boy bands who were the model for Korean pop music.
Mhm.
Yeah.
It is New Edition. It is New Kids on the Block,
Mhm.
NSYNC, Backstreet Boys. It is them. And
Yeah.
a lot of the first generation of Korean pop music literally is imported Americans
Yeah.
uh, who were bringing in hip hop and rap and soul and funk music to Korea. There was, of course, like the Korean American bases, right, ever since the Korean War, and so
Mhm.
there's a particular part uh, of Seoul, Itaewon, right? That's where all the foreigners are, and where it's the sketchy area because that's where all the black people are. But all the interesting cultural clubs where there's cultural movements and dance clubs and that kind of thing coming up from the very conservative regime earlier.
Yeah.
So that's where
Yeah.
you get the rise of pop music,
Yeah.
separating from trot music, the folksier music. And it's because of the Western influence, specifically for people catering to the American soldiers and sailors there.
Yeah.
And then they want to make that a business. They see the success of the Western boy groups, New Kids, NSYNC, Backstreet Boys. You import in some people from America who know what they're doing, and that's how you seed the industry.
Yep. My brother said Beatles are considered the start of the boy bands in America. That may be true. That may, I don't know. I don't know because the Temptations them they were older. They weren't boys when they started. They were older.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, they were young too, I thought. I thought they
No,
were
they're
like
in their 20s. They were
well, that's what I okay. But
they're
weren't
not
the
they're
Beatles the
not
same age?
16, 17.
Or how about this as a definition of boy, of not being respectably presented as a respectable person, but someone who's wild and thrilling,
Yeah.
speaking to the youth instead of fitting into the mold of like a crooner, but just in their teens.
Right. They
Yeah.
they
Yeah.
weren't necessarily crooners trying, they were dancing and moving and those types of
Shaking
things.
their hips. Scandalous.
Yeah, yeah. It's so this is I think this is such a worth discussing because I'm learning a lot about first of all Korean bands and I gotta hear mix because the funk put us on mix. I'm really curious. I just pulled them up. I was like, I'm curious what
Chuck,
they
you're out there in
sound like.
LA. I'm sure there are doctors at UCLA that you can hook up with too to
Absolutely.
help with this.
Absolutely. I'll reach out to Cole Kushner, the person that does Dissect podcast. He breaks down an album and just see what he if he knows anybody. But I think this is something that's dope and amazing to discuss. I know one thing I didn't ask you guys when we started this. What are y'all drinking on? It's Friday happy hour. And I realized
What was I drinking on?
we just talked the whole entire hour. We literally talked the whole entire hour about K-pop. And I think this is fascinating.
So, as an Asian person, I bought a deal more so than buying the product, right? So,
Uh-huh.
I have two 24 packs of this mango cart mango beer, wheat beer.
Oh, Mango Cart,
Yeah.
yeah.
So,
That's a good
I'm
beer.
trying to get through them. I'm not really a drinker, but I've got so many of these that would take me like 2 years to get through if I didn't actively try.
What made you buy them?
Because I like mangoes.
Mangoes. Okay, okay.
That makes
What
sense.
more do you need to know? I'm
Yeah.
Filipino. It's a mango. It's a wheat beer. So this is
I didn't
like
want to say
more
that,
in the
but
style of beer. I
Mhm.
got stereotypes. Stereotypes work. I
They do
can't do
work.
graffiti. I don't produce music. I don't do graphic design. All right.
You do break
Uh,
dance?
I'm not. Catch me when I was like 5 or 6 years old. Those were the
Uh-huh.
best
Uh-huh.
days of my
Uh-huh.
dancing.
Uh-huh.
But yeah, so that's why I bought it. It was buy
Yeah.
one, get one free. I'm like, all right, I'm going to buy the deal. If it
Okay, that
was
makes
just
sense.
regular price, if it was just $2 off, I probably wouldn't have bought it. But
But buy one, get one
buy
free
one,
is
get one
hard to
free. All
pass.
right.
Man,
so
I'm about to go out and see if they have in my
yeah,
grocery store buy one, get one free. Just stock them up in my refrigerator, even though I don't even drink anymore. It's
you
so
were right.
wild.
When the Temptations, my girl was their first hit, they were like 25 years
Yeah,
old
they were. Oh,
when
yeah.
that hit. So they
Yeah.
were, yeah, they're a little older. Yeah.
Yeah, they were crooners at that point.
Yeah.
They were
I was
crooners.
drinking some orange juice and Patron.
Mm.
Orange juice and Patron. Okay. Okay. I think I'm gonna close the show up because I
Wait,
found
Chuck, you
this
didn't answer, did you?
what?
What you
What were you
drinking?
What
drinking?
I want drinking on? Waterloo.
I love
We gotta get a
Waterloo.
sponsorship by
Is this
Waterloo.
probiotic water? I'm seeing
No,
probiotic everything.
it is sparkling water, naturally flavored with natural flavors. So they have, you know, strawberry juice in it. No added flavors or anything. I got put on the Waterloo by Pharrell. So Pharrell likes Waterloo
Yeah.
and he like what's the other water? The flat water. I agreed with him with the flat water, but yeah, he's like, buy Waterloo. It's cheap and it's delicious. And it is
Waterloo is
really
great, man. I love it. I
it
love their
is.
grape flavor. The grape Waterloo is delicious.
Man, stereotypes. Sometimes we live by the
Stereotypes of a
stereotypes.
young black male misunderstood, but it's still all good.
Hey, Rodney, can I do one more story here?
Let's do one more. Let's do one more. Let's do one
Can you
more.
scroll down to
Do it.
this MTV News article?
There's an MTV News article over
All
here.
right.
Let's chat
So
it.
Viacom is striking a lot of stuff off the internet, including
What?
the MTVnews.com website. So this means that, like, when do they start this? Dating back to the site's launch in 1996. So all those articles have been stricken from the internet. Now you might say, what about the Wayback Machine, right? That's got to have everything, right? It doesn't have everything. It's got a lot, it's got some, but it is not comprehensive. So like MTV News did legit news. And I know when I was growing up, that was something
Our
that
go-to site. For
since I
me,
was
it
tuned
was.
in to
Yeah.
MTV, I got lots of real non-music news through MTV News, through
Mm-hmm.
Kurt Loder
Kurt
and,
Loder.
that whole crew,
Mm-hmm.
right? Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Kurt Loder was a legitimate journalist.
Yeah.
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 So like this archive of, let's see, what's this? The now unavailable content includes decades of music journalism comprising thousands of articles and interviews with countless major artists, dating back to the site's launch in 1996. Perhaps the most significant loss is MTV News' vast hip hop related archives, particularly its weekly Mixtape Monday column, which ran for nearly a decade in the 2000s and 2010s and featured interviews, reviews, and more with many artists, producers, and others early in their careers. So like this is a time capsule that's just not available. And I know that there's a lot of like cultural writers who use MTV News's interviews with music artists as their resource, and that's just been wiped. And not only that, Comedy Central's website has been hit. So, of course, that one, because it's like video media, makes a little more sense because it got Paramount Plus to transfer
Uh-huh.
that stuff to. But similarly, not everything made the trip over to Paramount Plus. So there's tons and tons of like Daily Show, the Colbert Report, that sort of thing, that did not transition over to
Hmm.
Paramount Plus. So the internet
It's
is not
terrible.
forever.
No, it's not. It is
Uh,
not.
I don't
It
know
was
what's
so
going on
funny.
with
So,
Viacom.
is
It's
that then? I know we were having discussions about this a couple of months ago. It's still important then to have actual physical media because maybe we can't rely on our digital media to
Or
sustain
archivists
a
slash pirates, someone
yeah.
who's saving every little thing out
right.
there.
Yeah, yeah, it's gonna be tough. Like they were like when I went to the game developer conference this year, the Funk, and they made mention the person that's trying to preserve all the video games. He said 60% of video games are
Is
lost.
this Frank Cifaldi from the Video
Yep,
Game History Foundation?
it's Video Game History Foundation.
Yeah,
Yep, said 60% of all games are lost.
yeah.
That's a lot that we'll
It's a
never
lot.
ever see again.
So what's
It's a
crazy
lot.
is like notoriously a lot of Japanese games could not be properly be remastered because once the project was over, the developers just wiped and reused the hard drive so they can move on to the next thing. So people were thinking, all right, that happened with a lot of the big name developers like Squaresoft, the people who did Final
Mm-hmm.
Fantasy. That probably extends to Nintendo as well. But as it
Mm-hmm.
happened, there was a huge megaton leak, so to speak, of Nintendo's stuff, where it turns out they are archiving a lot of stuff. Uh, but in typical Nintendo fashion, they've got family secrets. So nothing's ever going to come out of that vault uh, voluntarily.
No,
Uh,
no,
but
unless the
at
company goes
least
under,
like
but
the
that's never
Walt
going to happen.
Disney of video games, for better and for worse, in all the
Mm-hmm.
connotations of what that means, is keeping safely guarded their history. And, if they ever bring back something like Iwata Asks, where they give peeks behind the curtain, then it would be a treasure trove for fans of the medium to understand, how video games were made, what was going through the minds of the developers who made some of the most culturally significant works in the media, in the
Yeah.
medium.
Yeah, I tell people that they're in the game industry, part of media is like Steam, right? What would ever happen if Steam collapses?
Mhm.
There'd be library of games gone, just gone. And I am victim to a Steam sale, like most people that buy and play video games on PCs.
Yeah, Steam Summer Sale is going on right now.
Yeah, I haven't looked. I won't look. I won't look because I end up buying another copy of a game I already own, but I buy like 50 games for $4, and it's hard to pass that up.
Yeah, I've got an endless backlog.
Yes, yeah.
Are we
Uh
promoting things? All right. I just got these aren't. Oh, real quick. Criterion Collection Barnes and Noble sale is going on right now. 50% off all movies in the Criterion Collection, including pre-orders that come out through July 28th. That's when the sale ends. Uh, Amazon does tend to price match a bunch of those, but it's not comprehensive and not all at the same time. But look out for
okay.
deals. This is your opportunity to get like huge box sets like Akira
Uh
Kurosawa collection, Ingmar Bergman, the Godzilla collection, Bruce Lee box set just came out. just came out. I think that was like a year ago, whatever.
Yeah, that's a
But you know,
huge deal.
Hey,
Half
Defunct, because I
off?
know you're a big fan of Criterion Collection. Tell people why they should buy the Criterion Collection.
Criterion Collection, Criterion popularized the special features and directors' interviews that became like de facto standard in the DVD days. But they were doing that way back in the Laserdisc days. And you've probably noticed now, like, okay, let's pretend the streaming stuff isn't going on right now. Even in those 5 years leading up to that, there was less and less special features put out on DVDs for you to look at. They were just essentially those 2 minute marketing clips that go up on the internet anyway, and they put them on the disc. You'd probably luck out by getting a director's commentary, and especially now in the streaming era, you don't really get a lot of those supplemental features anymore. Again, it's just those electronic press kits that are those 2 minute behind the scenes things that they throw out onto the internet. What's amazing though is it seems like Apple has commissioned some directors' commentaries that were exclusive to the Apple releases of things, and some of that is starting to get out there. I remember just this week they said that there's a Barbie director's commentary that was formerly Apple Plus exclusive that's starting to hit a different streaming service. So look out
Okay.
for that. And this is, crazily enough, something that was not available on the Blu-ray disc when you bought it. So because of marketing deals, we now have fragmentation in what's accessible. Anyway, the Criterion Collection, film school in a box. You want to know everything about the film? They've got hella supplemental features. They've got film historians who write essays for the booklets on there. They regularly commission new interviews with the people who were there, and especially if it's an old film, they'll try to get the old stars and producers and directors and writers and whatever to provide new contextual content. They also care very much about picture and video quality. So if you want to see your favorite films and probably the best it will ever look for any given media, you'll find it in the Criterion Collection. They're no longer the only boutique movie publisher who is doing this sort of film school in a box. There's others, but they are the biggest name out there.
Mm.
And just like Pokemon, each of these movies has a number on its spine. And if you are that kind of person to get addicted to, collecting the whole thing, then you might fall into that hole of just buying everything just so that there's no
When
gaps
you
in your
have it.
collection when you look at it on your shelf.
Yeah.
But anyway,
Yeah.
speaking of different distributors, I got a trio of documentaries that I just came in the mail today. This is from Vinegar Syndrome, who tends to do lots of genre stuff. I've got one here called Pretending
Can you
I'm a
see, put your hand?
Superman.
Yeah, there
Pretending
you go.
I'm a Superman, which is a documentary of the Tony Hawk Pro Skater video game series. I have got Hitman Heart Wrestling with Shadows, which is not just that documentary, but a couple other documentaries about the Hart family
Art family.
from the wrestling
Okay.
dynasty. And
Yeah.
then I've got Rockafire Explosion, which is about the Showbiz Pizza, pizza, what was it called? Showbiz Pizza.
Yeah.
Like Chuck E. Cheese, the robot band that
Mhm.
was the competitor to Chuck E. Cheese before they got swallowed up by Chuck E. Cheese. So this is
Yeah.
just a trio of physical media
So
documentaries that I got
that
recently.
creator's in Florida too,
Yeah,
right?
in Orlando.
Yeah,
So
in
creative
Orlando.
engineering.
Yeah.
There's a
Yeah,
warehouse with
creative.
that stuff. And unfortunately,
Yes.
everything's rotting and dripping because, it's all
We have a
old
friend
latex
that's
and whatever.
gone to that warehouse and talks about it. We have a friend in common that's been
Yep.
there to talk to that guy
So,
about it.
folks on the internet, you can look up Rockafire Explosion. There
Rockfire
are people who
explosion.
videoed those tours of the warehouse, so you can get into that. I will also say check out Rockafire Explosion at EA Sports. The Madden team, they were having some sort of a ship party or award ceremony or whatever, where they commissioned the Rockafire Explosion to come in and perform at the game studio with original songs and original, like, talk show dialogue custom to the award show at EA Sports, and that's a real trip. Like there's a
Yeah.
song called something something doctor, not that kind of doctor,
Well, we're interesting.
where
They
you
also
got a
did.
PhD in like physics or whatever, but then also one of the people being recognized is that kind of doctor, like an MD.
Interesting. What's so funny is that you talk about rock fire explosion. They actually somebody got them all together, put all the robots together, the animatronics together, and did rap songs over like pop, lock, and drop it, and they
Mhm.
perform it. And I'm
Yeah,
like, this is
people are still
wild.
making new songs for those
New songs
robots.
for them
Yeah,
all the
yeah.
time.
Nice.
Yeah,
I
it's
like it.
dope. They're so dope. They do it and it's like perfectly matched. It's perfectly sound match. And I was like, that's impressive. That's
Yeah.
totally impressive. It
Like
kind of
original
just make
vocals, they're not just syncing the song to
hmm
the robots, they're singing their own version of it.
Yeah, yeah. It's so good. It's so good. Um So if y'all didn't know, buy into the Criterion Collection if you like physical media. Twan Solo, I think that's you. Buy that physical media. I have DVDs and Blu-rays. People are like, you can get rid of that stuff. I'm like, no, no. I got like everything made by Funimation here. The first line, they start putting everything out on DVD, like all the Dragon Ball Z's and whatnot. The Tokyo Pop, I help work with the marketing on some of that. So they just give it to me,
Do you have a
gave it
lot of
to me.
Pioneer discs? I feel like a lot of those are valuable because a lot of those licenses
Maybe.
did not get picked up again.
They didn't get picked up again. Yeah, I may have some of those as well. And I tell people, media goes away. It will go away online. We
Yeah.
just watched Amazon, the king of servers, actually wipe media away from people that bought it from
Yeah.
Amazon. They like bought digital version of movies. And they're like, oh, we're just going to just pull it down. Not enough people are looking at it or buying it.
Yeah. You're just
And
Yeah.
people
buying, you're paying for
complain.
a long-term rental.
You paying for long-term rental. Yeah. Which is not bad. They hold the license, but if you bought into Max, for example, you saw a lot of things leave Max and
Yep.
go to
Yep.
Hulu, go to Netflix.
Or it
It's
just
just
left Max altogether.
all
Like
together.
Zasloff and them, they
Mhm.
got rid of content.
Yeah. Like I'm looking for Lovecraft Country on Blu-ray because I know I'm not going to be able to get it on digital media any longer because Max has pulled it. And they think they pulled that and Watchmen, then they're going to pull it forever.
Yeah.
And I'm
Well,
like, I want those.
there are other ways.
Yeah, there are
Yeah.
other
If
ways.
you
There are.
catch it in time,
No, no.
again,
Yeah.
you need someone who
You talking about
cares
you know
about
some people.
archiving.
You know some people
Um,
that know some people. You can
Yeah,
get it.
right.
You can get
That's how you
yeah,
Someone needs to
yeah.
Like
care
there's a
first.
few ways,
Stay on the high
you know the right
seas.
people,
The
you can
high
get it
seas. You can go to
Stay
the
on
high
the high
seas and
seas.
find it.
There are
There's a
ways.
merchant somewhere.
done.
There isn't always someone needed to care.
Somebody needed to care. That's all. And
No, that
somebody did
is
somewhere.
true. That is true because there are some pretty obscure stuff that I've looked for, and
Hmm
you can't even find it there.
It's
So
tough. There's a lot of
it's
stuff
true.
that's tough to find.
Yeah, which
Yeah.
Westworld you talking about?
Mm,
The recent series or the old movie?
Well,
No,
only
the
season one.
re-
Well, season two was good too.
no,
Those came out on Blu-ray. They might not be in strong circulation, especially the later
Hmm
seasons. I think season 4 had a very limited print run.
As it should have.
Wow. I heard people loved it.
Ooh,
Uh,
which
I've heard people enjoy
ooh.
season 4. Some people have. That's a contention. Like it was one of the best shows on HBO. I'm like,
The
really?
first two seasons were great.
Hmm
Season 3 and 4.
I only saw season 3. I'll agree that that was not good,
Yeah.
but
I only got to
I
season
haven't
two,
seen
you
4.
guys. Y'all way
yeah,
ahead of me.
I stopped probably like 3 episodes into season 3. But one was like, if they even had ended on one, would have been perfect season.
Yeah. One was amazing.
One was amazing. But
Yep.
I know we keep
Yeah.
extending this. I have one last thing to
Yeah.
bring up here. Speaking of physical media, Arcane season 1 is
Oh,
getting
did
a
yeah.
see
4K
that,
home video release. This is monumental
Yeah.
For
one
sure buying
because
that.
it is escaping Netflix. There's only been a small
Yes.
handful of series that have escaped Netflix and gone on to physical media. So like the Marvel Netflix series, House of Cards,
Hmm
Orange is the New Black,
For sure buying this, man.
a
This
few
is
things.
Yes.
talking
And
about
this is also the first
classics.
time you're getting 4K. Like the original broadcast was not 4K. So
Such a
this is exclusive to the discs.
beautiful series, man.
Yeah.
Absolutely,
And
this is art. I literally think this Arcane season 1 is art. It's
it
Oh,
not,
yeah.
is.
man.
And
It's so beautiful. The story is amazing. The animation, just the visuals, everything. It's
Yeah.
just it's art, man.
it's one and they have season 2 and it's done.
They should.
Yeah.
That's it. That's all we need.
But they said they're
still
moving on.
gonna
They got other
do-
stories.
Yeah, within that
Yeah.
world, they're gonna tell other stories.
But I was fine with
But
May
then also like
maybe.
I think you might have put this in the rundown, Defunct, but
Hmm.
they did say that Fortiche is actually coming out with their own sci-fi movie, animated movie. I seen that somewhere.
I don't think I put that in though.
Yeah, I seen that somewhere, but I didn't read all the details. But like, man, Fortiche can just, yeah, they killed it, man. They
Yeah.
absolutely killed it.
I am fine with just 2 seasons of Arcane. Just
Well,
2
they-
great
Well,
seasons, and that's
well,
it.
well, I know for a fact that Riot let go of their entertainment division. They let it go.
So it might be part of that, just like
That's
cutbacks, right?
they cut back
Yeah.
on all of it. So
Yeah.
so there's no more
Telling me no more
Arcane,
K-pop collabs.
they-
KDA is dead. I missed
so
my
the
chance
person
getting
that
that light
the
stick.
person that was there that ran all that department was fired, and then they let everybody go.
Hmm.
We were talking about it at Summer Games Fest. They let everybody go.
Hmm.
This from 3 people I know that work at the company. They were
And that
telling me.
makes yeah,
And they
'cause I
said
know
they're
they
going to
did a
back
lot
focus
of-
nothing but games.
Yeah, they
nothing
did a
but
lot.
games.
They did a lot of cuts, right? Even like
Mhm.
their esports stuff, they got a lot of cuts, and they could you
Yeah.
could see it, and I mean it makes sense, but I'm sure it'll come
Yeah.
back. I'm sure it's gonna come back because, and then like their MMO supposedly, they're working on the MMO, and
Mhm.
a bunch of people that were actually heading it just left.
Yeah.
And so,
Well,
the head of the MMO development left and went to another company and started a new one. And so,
Mhm.
yeah, that's
Mhm.
crazy, man.
I would love to bring them on the show to talk about their experiences at this company, but they were like, it's the Wild West, and we kill a lot of projects. A lot of projects die on the vine. Yeah, I was like, it's kind of so it's kind of like Blizzard. They're like, oh, we're way worse than Blizzard.
Well, Blizzard's terrible, but I just
No,
feel like
like projects dying. Like
Mhm.
Blizzard runs a lot of projects. They have. He said we have up to 13 projects running, and we kill them.
But to me, Arcane is so good. It's so great. I don't ever want it to have a bad season. So I
Yeah.
feel like just
Yeah.
2
Yeah,
good,
yeah.
great seasons, and they just ride off into the sunset.
But
Mic
the
drop
whole
and leave.
purpose of Arcane was to introduce all the League of Legends champions eventually into a single story. With 2 seasons, you're not going to do that
Yeah.
Yeah, so they'll
Oh.
probably do it piecemeal, kind of like this
if
one.
they can.
This one focus on Jinx and it's just the sister, and then maybe another. They'll have another storyline that runs like 2 or 3 seasons that focus on a different set of that kind of makes sense story wise.
It won't be done with Fortiche. They burnt that relationship.
Yeah, I
Oh.
believe it. I mean,
They
yeah.
burnt it. Yeah, because I was when I was talking about it to the friends. I'm not gonna say who one is, but they're in animation, and they were like, "Yeah, we burnt that relationship. We killed that relationship. We got one more season." And I was like, "What?" I
Sucks
was
to
like,
hear.
"Y'all should have bought that company." I said, "If y'all didn't buy them, Netflix should have bought that company because that company makes amazing animation." And they were like, "That company doesn't need any of us. They'll be fine.
So I
They
think
have a
probably-
masterpiece." I was like, "They do have a masterpiece." Rumor is they're working with DC. That's going to be interesting. That's a rumor. But yeah, I don't know what
Oh,
they're going
here,
to do about that.
I found it here.
Yeah.
So they said that Arcane Studio Fortiche announces first original feature Penelope of Sparta, and it's just
Yeah.
it's theirs.
Yes, theirs. They don't need anything.
So,
Yeah. Yeah. So yeah.
sci-fi coming of age story.
Mm-hmm. So Fortitia's they're gonna be fine. They're formidable. Because Arcane is amazing looking.
It is.
And it's
Best.
a great story.
Yep.
But yeah, apparently Riot let go of that whole entire division. that's like, oh, y'all are no longer a game company, y'all an
I mean,
entertainment
that's one
company.
of the
They're like,
things too about
well,
Blizzard, right? Like I used to always say, like when you
well,
watch like their cinematics and all their
hmm
WoW, I mean Diablo, all of them, like
they should have
StarCraft,
been an entertainment company. Yeah.
they should have made so many. They had their trailers alone were just like a must see, animation.
Yeah.
They could
Yeah.
like, and not just WoW, it's just like Diablo, their StarCraft,
Mhm.
Overwatch.
the Overwatch stuff, like their WoW stuff, like they should have, but man, it's expensive and it's a huge thing, but still
Yeah.
great
Yeah.
stories.
And they thought, and Blizzard thought about it. They thought about making an animation studio inside their studio, but then they started going through layoffs because of all the issues they were having.
Jeez, guys.
Leadership
Yeah.
caused the end of that animation studio idea. And so people get dumb prizes. Bad people get bad
So
prizes.
I don't know if I've ever told this story, or this is like we can go after this, but this is like a totally tangent. But we're just talking about
Uh-huh.
Blizzard, right? And talking about all
Uh-huh.
the leadership problems. So you guys, you or all might know, but I'm a huge WoW nerd, right? I
Mm-hmm.
played WoW since the very beginning. I never was into MMOs, but like I knew one of the animators from the cinematics team because I ran a fan site for Roughneck Chronicles. He was one of the animators on it. Then he moved from there to Blizzard.
Mm-hmm.
And then I met up with him, and then he's like, "Hey, And then at the time, I had no idea about the WoW, the World of Warcraft. I had no idea. I got to lunch, but then my brother was like, "Hey, why don't you ask him if we could get into the beta for the World of Warcraft?" And I was like, "Well, I don't really play, but sure, I'll ask him." And I asked him, and he's like, "Sure. How many do you want?" So I got like 5, 6 of us. And it was alpha. It wasn't even beta. It was like friends and family. It was like that early, right? And then I get in, we play, and I'm just like hooked, absolutely hooked, right? And I'm just like
Mhm.
playing, I'm in the beta and all this stuff. So there was one guild called Fires of Heaven, who the guild leader his name was like Führer or something like that, right? It was like Fuher. And he was just like this mythical person, right? Because he was like
Mhm.
the head of this like hardcore guild, and they were in beta and they did everything. They were the first to kill everything. They were the first thing, right? And then so we ended up starting a guild alongside them because we were like the only other people in beta that were like, we're kind of like the second level guild, right? So then we go to retail, it launches. We go to the same server as these guys, and we kept hearing about this guy. We kept hearing about this guy. And it turns out he was such a big influence within the MMO community that Blizzard hired him, right? I didn't know his
Interesting.
name. I didn't know his name. I didn't know his real name.
Right.
And then literally like a year or two ago, when all this stuff was happening, when all the names came out of like who was doing all the bad shit, one of my WoW buddies goes, you know who that is, right? I go, no. He goes, that's Fuhrer. There was the guild leader of our sister guild. That was one of the guys that did like the most heinous shit. And I was like, I had no idea. Like all these years, like just like literally since the beginning, I had no idea. And I was like, man, that makes so much sense to me because he's one of those hardcore, And it's just like, anyways, it was just like, man. So you're basically saying this guy that was playing
Wow.
games, that was playing WoW, became this head of one of the big wigs there, and it makes sense because it's like, for some reason, it just makes so much sense that this like basically this incel or whatever, right, gets like a higher up position and then abuses his fucking position and like does all this other stuff. And then I was like, anyway, so this is a long story, but it was just like a random thing that like it was just like, yeah,
Rodney,
I had
welcome
no
to
idea.
tech.
I had no
That
idea.
is tech in a
That's
nutshell, unfortunately.
yeah,
It'd be
man.
like some incels, they like, oh, I am the person now. I am the person. So, oh, y'all gonna bend my wheel. I am what's the prince's name in Game of Thrones? Ramsey? Not
Okay,
Joffrey. The one that's
not
worse than
Johnny.
Joffrey.
Ramsey, that's his name.
Ramsey,
The
Ramsey,
bastard one who was
the
yeah.
bastard one. They turn into Ramsey. I am the stolen son of another king, and I'm son to this king, and I'll never be king, but I have all the power of the prince.
Mm.
I
And
mean,
so
it's
I
crazy.
will it at freely, and that unfortunately is gaming and tech. It's really wild. It's really wild. There's so many stories I can tell you, Rodney. So many. So many. You're like,
Yeah.
wow. Like you really blew the bag. You blew the bag for that? Was that what you did for? You couldn't just be cool? Like it's wild. It's wild. But yeah. So that's why I'm like I told my friends that right. I was like, I'm heartbroken. Y'all became a gaming company because y'all could have been the model. Like y'all have Fortouche making y'all great, making you great animation. And they said they tried to dip into live action stuff, and that's where it started falling apart. And then investors came in, and was like, wait, how much you trying to spend? We
Mhm.
make a ton of money. Matter of fact, we're losing money on the main thing we make money on. Y'all need to focus on that. I said, y'all better not kill Project L. Keep Project L around, so it's not going anywhere anytime soon. But they have a knockout team for that. They have a really good knockout team for that. And yet they have the Beehive and they have all these places around LA that are really nice. One time, Rodney, when we have an event, we'll go to the Beehive. I'll take you there. You can meet some people.
Yeah.
It'd be interesting. It'd be very interesting to meet them because they'll tell you the stories that they're dealing with internal, and you're like, what? Wow. But
Juan, I know you're on your journey, your game dev journey. It's better to be not remembered than to be remembered for the wrong things.
wrong
So
things.
watch
Mm-hmm.
yourself.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Have to be mindful, and people tell stories. They're like, what? Okay. you know just have a nice ear and smile at people when they tell it to you, because everybody's going through trauma, and they want to actually tell the story. They want to go through some level of therapy. They're just looking for an ear to listen.
Mm.
Yeah, yeah. But anyway, let's get on the positive note. I'm going to
Yeah.
buy Lovecraft Country on Blu-ray because it's on sale everywhere, and I know it's not going to be everywhere much longer
Did they put that
because
out on Blu-ray?
they put it out on Blu-ray. I'm going for
Well, that's
that
a
and The
surprise.
Watchmen. You gotta buy it. You gotta buy the
Watchmen,
funk. You
yeah.
gotta buy the funk. You gotta
Watchmen
buy
is
it.
again same thing. I regard Watchmen as like a masterpiece.
It
I think I
is.
Watchmen.
It
missed my
is.
chance on Harley Quinn season 1 and 2. I know some places
What?
are no longer stocking that Blu-ray.
That was a Blu-ray?
Yeah.
Oh, we gotta
Feel like
snatch
we
Season
that.
three's
need to
out
find
also.
that. We must preserve Harley Quinn at all costs. Like
At
when it
all
all
costs.
crumbles,
That-
right? When it all crumbles,
You guys got to get off
we're gonna
Kaylee's
need
job.
season
Just
one.
saying. If John
Twan
Ritter were
Solo
still
said,
alive, he'd tell you stop messing with his daughter.
yeah. Twan Solo says story time. We need a TikTok series. Man, I can't. I wish I could do a TikTok series on all the stories I've heard in gaming and entertainment, but I would never get a job again
Yeah.
Yeah.
because I've heard some
Then you just
stories
gotta
like
make. Then you gotta make the stories great, so you don't
you
need
know,
to get another job. That's
that's
what you.
true. That's true. That's true. Or I do what what was the what's the online network that everybody used to talk about? Damn it, they
Online
pulled
network.
most
What?
of it off. They used to have like hiding behind masks, used to talk about their jobs.
Oh yeah, I know what you're talking about. But yeah,
Uh
yeah, like they. I mean, yeah, it's crazy. I mean, speaking of like craziness, I mean, we definitely got to go. But
yeah.
there's this like whole thing that just happened all week about Doctor Disrespect. Speaking of like
Hmm.
just people coming out and
Hmm.
talk and finally saying stuff, you know, because it literally was like, yep, 4 years, the NDAs were up, and the old ex Twitch employees dropped some bombs, and
Yeah, of course they
yeah,
did.
Hmm.
and it was like, yeah, so because yeah, and they're
Yeah.
just yeah, people are out there. I mean, they'll come out eventually.
Yep. It's really interesting. It's really interesting. It's all going to come out. I can't wait for all the people that are in the DAs for some of these podcasters, their stories to come out. Like I tell everybody, what's it, 21, what 20 jump, Adam, whatever name is.
Oh, Adam
His,
22 or
Adam
what's?
22,
Yeah,
yeah. It's gonna be wild when those stories come out about that company. He
yeah,
put everybody in the NDA, so it's gonna be interesting when it all comes out.
yeah. It
It's
is.
but yeah, yeah. I said our future is gonna be all reality and documentaries. We're about to see all kinds of wild stories. But with that said, the funk. Anything else you want to share? Anything else you want to plug?
No, let's say no.
Okay. He said, I got so much stuff over here to talk about.
Yeah, you don't want to
Okay,
start. Let's not start
no,
anymore.
we're not gonna start. Randy, anything you want to plug?
Nah.
Okay. Thank you all for tuning in to Geek Beast. This has been interesting. I found this very educational to hear about this civil war happening in K-pop. I'm gonna go listen to MX now because you got me curious about
FE
K-pop.
304.
FE
Check that album.
304. Okay. FE 304. What does that mean?
Magnetite. It's thematic to the album concept.
Okay. I'll go check it out. Thank you, Theo, for popping in the chat. Y'all didn't know that's my older brother. He popped in through via Facebook. And Twan Solo came in and rode with us all the way through this. If y'all don't know, you should like and subscribe to the Geekish Network and share us with your friends and family. We're across everything: Twitch, Facebook, and we're across YouTube. And we have TikTok and Twan Solo. We may start doing some of these stories. I might have to get somebody else to do the stories and talk about the stuff, but it is there. There's some interesting stories in gaming and entertainment, anime. I've heard like, wow, that's interesting. That's fascinating you know. Uh, Thank you all for tuning in. Shout out to Digital Click for helping us with our marketing and make sure that we look good. They do all our overlays for us. And shout out to Rodney. Rodney chimed in today. That's our
Yeah.
technical producer and technical director. So we had a full cast of people today. I appreciate it, Rodney. Thanks for coming in. With that being said, all y'all have a good night. Peace.
Have a good weekend, y'all.